In 2025, energy isn't just about power plants and electricity bills anymore. It's the defining force in geopolitics, economics, diplomacy, and national security. Today, we explore how energy is shaping global power, who's winning, who's falling behind, and what it means for the future. According to the International Energy Agency's World Energy Outlook 2025, energy security is now a core element of national strategy. Countries are balancing affordability, sustainability, and geopolitical risk while navigating rapidly shifting markets and supply chain fragilities. i.e., this shift hasn't happened in a vacuum. It's driven by wars, sanctions, supply disruptions, and the legacy dependence on fossil fuel infrastructure. Energy security now sits alongside defense, trade, and diplomacy as a strategic priority. Some governments are pushing hard into renewables and technology independence, while others double down on fossil fuels to hedge risk. 2025 may be the year critical minerals became the most strategic resources on Earth. Critical minerals, including lithium, cobalt, nickel, and rare earths, are essential for batteries, electric vehicles, and renewable infrastructure. United States foreign policy in 2025 has centered on securing China-free supply chains to reduce dependence on Beijing's processing dominance. Meanwhile, China has countered with export restrictions aimed at preserving its own leverage. This wasn't a small shift. This is a new resource race, rivaling oil and gas in strategic importance. China continues to reshuffle the global energy landscape. In 2025, China overtook OPEC Plus as a key influencer of oil prices, using large strategic crude stockpiles to smooth markets and hold global pricing power. At the same time, China's renewable build-out has been historic. Its solar capacity, already the largest in the world, recently crossed over 1,000 gigawatts of installed solar power, a milestone no other nation has achieved. This deepens its role not just as a manufacturer, but as a global energy powerhouse. China's dual strength in fossil fuel influence and clean tech capacity positions it to dominate not just markets, but global energy politics. South Korea announced an ambitious climate pledge to cut emissions by up to 61% by 2035 and retire coal plants by 2040. But this pledge clashes with major LNG import deals with the United States, illustrating the trade-offs between climate goals and energy security commitments. AP News. This tension between long-term green goals and short-term energy agreements is playing out across Asia. In Europe, the Slovak-Ukraine gas dispute highlighted how energy infrastructure, especially pipelines, can become diplomatic flashpoints. The transit contract termination forced shifts in gas routes and accelerated plans to reduce Russian dependency. These clashes show that energy exports and pipeline politics still shape alliance and conflict dynamics on the continent. In the United States, energy policy became a source of controversy. The Federal Interior Department paused 5 major offshore wind projects, citing national security concerns over radar interference, a move that sets back clean energy deployment and invites criticism from both sides of the political aisle. At the same time, domestic political rhetoric, including public embraces of fossil fuels and climate skepticism, has shaped both domestic and foreign perceptions of U.S. energy leadership. This complex mix of politics and policy affects not just domestic markets, but the U.S.'s ability to compete with China and Europe for energy innovation and influence. Despite rapid clean energy growth, the transition remains uneven. According to global energy modeling, some sectors like electrification and battery supply are progressing fast, while others, like hydrogen fuel and heavy industry decarbonization, lag far behind. And even as renewables expand, fossil fuels remain deeply embedded in the global system. Some market forecasts point toward an oil glut in 2026 due to oversupply, even as renewables continue to grow. This dynamic mixture of renewable expansion and continued fossil reliance will define the geopolitics of the next decade. Governments are now using energy policy as industrial strategy. For example, in the United Kingdom, the Great British Energy Act 2025 created a state-owned company to accelerate domestically produced energy and secure net-zero commitments, signaling a shift toward strategic state involvement in energy infrastructure. And in the EU, programs like the Clean Industrial Deal aim to retain competitiveness while lowering energy costs. But these efforts show the complex balancing act between regulation, investment, and geopolitics. In 2025, energy systems have become the new currency of geopolitical negotiation. Countries that develop clean energy technologies, secure critical minerals, and manage supply chains are not just energy players, they are global power brokers. And as renewable capacity soars worldwide while fossil fuel politics evolve, the balance of power will be determined not just by who controls oil and gas, but by who controls the future energy grid. Energy shapes money, it shapes diplomacy, it shapes security. It now shapes global power itself. If you want to stay informed on how energy will define the future of nations, technology, and economics, subscribe for more deep dives like this.